Hello, hope you're doing well and with life and in science as well. But if you are not, then we pray that everything becomes fine. Then life will be simple. Where it is not simple, we try to simplify and we do our best. Back to biology with the new curriculum. We are so far on topic 3. Those are insects. Having looked at classification, and we said that these organisms are grouped according to the similar characteristics. We have kingdoms which contain or which consists of very many organisms, that is a large number of organisms. And then at the end of the levels of taxonomy, we have the species, where we have organisms that have closely related characteristics. Now, insects, or as you come from kingdom, you go to phylum, then from phylum to class. So looking at kingdom Animalia, we take our discussion from phylum Chordata. Now we go to phylum Arthropoda. And we say this is the largest phylum in the kingdom Animalia. And as you can see, arthros, that is the word arthropoda, comes from two Greek words, arthros, which means jointed, and poda, which means leg or foot. Thus, the word arthropoda means jointed limbs. So we are looking at animals with jointed limbs. Those are the arthropods. These arthropods have main characteristics that they possess in common. They have jointed legs. Their bodies are as well covered with a tough exoskeleton. They have segmented bodies. They also exhibit bilateral symmetry, and they have an open circulatory system. Those are the main characteristics that all arthropods possess, or all arthropods have. This phylum, being the largest phylum in the animal kingdom, is categorized or subdivided into 5 classes. Those are the Diplopoda, class Diplopoda, where we find the millipedes. We have Chilopoda, where we shall find the centipedes. We have class Insecta. Those are the insects that we are going to look at today. We have Crustacea, where you will find the crabs. And then we have class Arachnida, where we find the spiders and the ticks. And you will find out that most all these classes, we are grouping these arthropods into these several classes on the basis of the number of legs, either presence or absence of the antennae, looking at the number of the body parts and the types of eyes. That is how we are able to group these arthropods into these classes. Now, today we are going to look at the main, or the also under phylum Arthropoda, we have the largest class. The largest class that we have is class Insecta. which is consisting of the insects. So the lesson of today, we are looking at the external features of insects, and by the end of this video, you should be able to identify the features on common insects. And we are saying that these guys, the insects, have for a long time been known as pollinators. Some of them are honey producers. They are vectors. Some act as food and for beauty. All these insects, they have their body divided into the head, thorax, and the abdomen. So it is Orchilus insecta. These guys are subdivided into three main body parts. That is the head, thorax, and the abdomen. And these being the main subdivisions of the body of the insects, they also bear other structures that enable these insects to function normally and live well in its environment. These guys play a large role in the lives of humans, plants, and other living organisms, as we shall identify down. And the insects that we normally interact with regularly in our homes, in our communities, that are so accessible to us are the houseflies. If you don't know a housefly, move around your community and you check out where you have that environment that needs to be cleared. Then you'll be able to look at the houseflies, because these guys love dirty things. You have the cockroaches, then we have the mosquitoes. If you don't know a mosquito, then you should leave the house open for around 10 minutes in the night. You will look at some of the insects that are entering your house. And these guys are dangerous because they transmit malaria. So you will look at them. They are blood suckers. They'll be looking for blood from humans during the night. We have the worker bee. These guys, they are the ones that that produce honey. We have the butterflies and the soldier termites. These are the most common insects that we interact with in our environment. So the reason for the main characteristics of the insects as the following: they are divided into three main body parts, that is the head, thorax, and the abdomen. They have a pair of antennae on the head. They have three pairs of jointed legs, which are attached to the thorax. They have a pair of compound eyes, which are large, and they breathe through the spiracles found on the side of the thorax and the abdomen. Those are the main characteristics that distinguish the insects from other arthropods. Three main body parts, a pair of antennae on the head, three pairs of jointed legs, a pair of compound eyes, and the ability to breathe through the spiracles found on the side of the thorax and the abdomen. So, as the new curriculum requires, then we are going to have activity 1. In this activity 1, we are identifying the characteristics and importance of common insects. Part 1, search in your house or in the surrounding environment for the following insects. Look for an adult cockroach. Look for a housefly, a mosquito, a worker bee, a butterfly, and a termite. You can trap these insects either using the insecticide or using nets, and kill it without destroying its parts, because you need to look or you need to observe these parts for less to be able to identify the characteristics of these common insects. Now, you need to take note of this. Don't have to forget that some insects can bite or sting you. So make sure you be very careful while you're trapping them. If you cannot, then ask someone who is older than you to help you whenever necessary. After you catching these insects, observe the features on the antennae, eyes, wings, and legs of these insects that are provided. And you are required to describe the features in the table below. Make sure you put this table down. Then you are able to identify the features of these insects. You have insect 1, that is the cockroach. You are able to look at the description. You look at the antennae. We are looking at the antennae in terms of number. How many antennae do we have? Length and shape. You look at the texture. Is it smooth? Is it rough? How is it? You look at the eyes. How many are they in a number? Then type. Are they simple or compound eyes? Then you also look at the texture of the eyes. No, for the eyes, we don't have to look at the texture. Sorry about that. Because don't expect someone to have or to possess rough eyes. You also look at the wings. Count them in number. Look at the texture of the wings. And then look at the legs. Count them in number and look at the texture. For all these organisms, the cockroach, the housefly, the mosquito, you have the worker bee, the butterflies, and the termite. Now, make sure after you complete this activity, wash your hands thoroughly with clean water and soap, because if you don't do that, some of them transmit germs and you will end up giving yourself germs that will cause the diseases to you, yet you were looking at a study or you were trying to learn about the insects. Questions? What do you think is the function of the antennae to an insect? Why are they possessing the antennae? Why? Look at the length. Is it short or it is long? If you want to know the function of the antennae, get an insect which does not bite. Don't kill it, just remove the antennae and leave it to stay where it is. And then you come to catch it again. When you've just removed the antennae, you should be able to know the function of the antennae to an insect. Among the insects that have been provided, which do you think has antennae that are specifically adapted to its way of life? And give reasons for your answer. Which insect has an antennae that has a specific adaptation to its way of life? In other words, it should be of great significance to such an insect in the kind of life it is living or it lives, and give a reason. That means you are supporting your answer. If it is insect A, then why? First of all, look at the kind of life that an insect lives. If it lives this kind of life, and you've looked at the function of the antennae, now relate the function of the antennae and the kind of life that this insect lives, and then you see how specifically it is getting adapted to that kind of life with the help or the assistance of the antennae. There you should be able to give the reason for your answer. When you looked at all those insects, did all of the insects have eyes? And if not, Which insect did not have eyes? And suggest a reason for your answer. What are the legs and wings in insects used for? Significance or the role of the legs and wings in insects. Did all the insects have wings? If not all of them had wings, which one did not have the wings? And give a reason for your answer. Support your answer as to why such an insect has no wings. Perhaps you should look at the kind of life that that insect lives, or how is it able to locomote, where does it stay, and then it should give you a reason for why such an insect has no wings. Was there an insect with more than one pair of wings? If yes, which one is it? And state the function of the wings that have been observed. If you look at the insects and you find that most of them are possessing one pair and the other one has an extra pair, then that means it must be a specific characteristic for that organism to live a particular kind of life that is well better off, or it is living a life that is different from the other ones. Perhaps the presence of an extra pair of wings will be of great significance, or there is a way it improves the standards of living of such an insect. Which insects have specific features on their legs? Observe carefully. What are those features and what are they used for? When you are looking at chordates, you looked at class Pisces, you have Mammalia, you have Aves, you have Reptilia, and Amphibia. These guys, their skin is different. Some of them have feathers, others the skin is covered by fur, others the skin is covered by scales. So take a close observation on the legs of these insects. Which insect is having special features? Look, all of them are insects. All of them have jointed limbs. But depending on the role that it performs within the environment, one of those insects will have specific features on their legs. Perhaps they cannot be the same, they will be different depending on what role they are supposed to perform. You can look at the worker bee, look at a housefly, observe carefully, look at a cockroach, look at a butterfly and a mosquito, and see which of these insects have special features on their legs. What are they and what are they used for? What role do these features that are specific to these organisms or these insects on their legs, what is the significance of such features? That was part one, where we are identifying the characteristics insects that we are always interacting with in our environment. Now we have part two of this activity. In part two, we are looking at insects in table 2 below. Research and find out the following. These are the areas of study or what we are supposed to make research about. How is the insect helpful to other organisms or the surroundings? When you advance or as you proceed on with biology, you will look at find a concept about ecology. Looking at the relationship organisms have with their surrounding environment. How do we interact with our surroundings? That is the environment. Now, these insects cannot live alone. They are depending on other organisms for survival, and other organisms are as well depending on these insects for their survival. Now, how are these insects helpful to other organisms or the surroundings? That is the role they perform. Positive roles. Now, we have the negative roles. That is how the insect is harmful to other organisms. Look at a housefly. How harmful is it? Look at a mosquito. You are looking at the government's program of distributing nets to people, emphasizing married, the pregnant mothers to sleep under treated mosquito nets. Why? These guys are dangerous. They are harmful to other organisms. So research and find out the following. How are these insects helpful to other organisms or the surroundings? And how are these insects harmful to other organisms or the surroundings? And once you have done that, then you have knowledge about insects. You know the roles they perform, that is the significance, how dangerous are they, and perhaps research more and find out if such an insect is dangerous in this way, how can we prevent ourselves from these negative effects of these insects from approaching us or from getting us into danger? How best can we do that? If, for example, you look at the mosquitoes and they are transmitting the disease, malaria, from one individual, they are transmitting the Plasmodium parasites, because those are the microorganisms that cause malaria. How can we prevent ourselves from getting diseased of malaria, from contacting the disease? How can we prevent ourselves from the mosquitoes that are going to bring the Plasmodium parasites into our bodies? Okay, that is about insects. You can look at the lesson summary down, and you are required to select the correct word from the following list and use it to fill the blank spaces below. Some of the words can be used twice or more than once. So look at the lesson summary below. Bodies of insects are made up of dash distinct parts, that is, fill in. And this gives us knowledge about insects. It gives us why are they categorized alone, their specific features, how we can distinguish these organisms from one another. Kindly do these activities, part 1 and part 2, for us to identify more and understand how different and what these insects that we live with, the role they perform, and what we are supposed to do with them. More videos are going to be posted. Follow up, go to the YouTube channel at biochemistry, search biochemistry, be able to find us there, or you can search, put the name Junior Jan Yamhachi, you will be able to find us on YouTube. And you can as well join us on our daily lessons via Zoom as we better our best in sciences. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, follow, and watch the videos. Thank you very much.